Hello, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. So I just finished my first of the year, I think first ever fall themed journal. I've done Thanksgiving journals and I've done Halloween journals, but never a fall themed. So I'm really excited. I can only do 2 this whole year. That's all I could collect an ephemera for. So I'll do another one closer to the fall, but because fall is not around the corner, but it really is 2 months away. So this is a plate that I pulled from a 1930s bumper book for children, and it's just the sweetest plate. It's original, and look at this little girl collecting the falling leaves in her skirt. It's adorable. I put a huge piece of vintage tablecloth actually, around the edges and some antique paper behind it and some fall colored ribbons to match the colors on the cover. And it's actually a 1963 book base that I used. And inside I have every single page and insert is fall and autumn themed. So let me take you on a little journey before I throw it in my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com. And let's start here with the very first page. So I used this vintage file folder tab, one of those little index boxes, and I used it because it's got the fall orange color there. And this 1937 5-year diary page, because it's a fall date, October 17th. And then this here is just got the beautiful fall colors in this cardinal flower from a vintage Wildflowers of America book. So I really like those 2 little inserts. This is a vintage songbook about autumn, harvest fun, music up the river. And then back here, this is from 1896 from Demarest's Family Magazine. It's very brittle, so I'm going to be careful. And there's a possibility that over the years it may break, but it's this corner here with this beautiful polymus image here and the squash down here. It's just stunning. So it's not very often you can get a piece of history like that has a little bit of fall theme in it with those beautiful harvest squash. This here is from 1959. You'll see a few of these pages. We've got apple pie on this side, and then some painting, Jack Frost painting the leaves on this side for the fall. And then down here, I've got an orange Milmar food coupon because it's orange and that's a fall color. And that is vintage from Paige down in New Mexico. Thank you, Paige. I've had these for a while. This is one of the last ones. It's a vintage playing card. And again, it's a beautiful orange color and this lovely silhouette of a Victorian woman. I love it. And then in this pocket, I have this is from a very old newspaper that I cut out, and it's the World's Fair in New York City, which is 1937. So I thought that was very, very cool. And then this here is from a 1950s book. Look at how sweet. Look at this little fall scene with the squirrel on one side and the little boy running through the fields on the other. Just adorable. It's so sweet. And here's a harvest song, that's early 1900s, and I've got these fall colored stamps up here, and those are from the 1930s as well on their original envelope there. And this is very cool. This is another thing that Paige gave me, and the reason it was a whole book full of recipes that somebody had cut and pasted into a book. But I like it because it's all fall. They put all the fall recipes in one set. So we've got apple butter, cranberry pumpkin cornbread, zucchini squash cake, gooseberry pie. And then we've got, her meatloaf recipe. Remember I told you I made that one. It's excellent. It really is. So yeah, I thought that was just absolutely charming. Wonderful, had to be in a fall themed journal. Here is a beautiful 1890s page with a poem about autumn on it. And I really like that too. Here's the flip side of that Jack Frost page. And this is another 1930s children's book page. We've got the owl and the squirrel here, but look at here, the wonderful, almost Halloween-y, which is also in the fall. So I just love it. He's got a hilarious expression on his face. I love it. This here is from a 1925 art stories book, and the colors are magnificent. For 1925 for a children's book, they're just spectacular. So this down here says a book of autumn colors. And then over here, look at that. If that were bigger, I could have made that into a cover of a journal, but it's absolutely spectacular. And then over here are some pressed flowers that I made. They've been pressed since last summer and I finally pulled them out and they survived. And I was so pleased that I could put them in this journal. Here is a great vintage piece from a gardening book from the early 70s, so definitely vintage. And we've got these wonderful squash here and giant red celery. Is that fun? And rhubarb on the other side, yum. More fun vintage stamps here. And then this here is from early 1900s and it says the Fall Fair. And I love that some student has just written all over this. Actually, it looks like a bunch of different students because we've got pen, we've got pencil, pen over here. Just really fun piece. I didn't do anything with it in case somebody else would like to. And on this piece down here, I've got this Hail to the Harvest, also early 1900s school book. And here's the flip side of that, beautiful art stories from 1925. Look at the vibrant colors in there. It looks like it was just printed yesterday, but it's 100 years old. Isn't it gorgeous? And here is another 1959 page here. It's called Autumn Fires, a little beautiful little poem down there. And here is another 1930s children's book page. We've got the fellas loading up the pumpkins onto the truck. And another one of these wonderful. Oh, look at how cute. Just wonderful. And there he is by the fireplace dreaming. I love it. And this I actually made. It's an eco print. And I took a course at our Royal Botanical Gardens to do that. And I really like how it turned out. I only have 2 pieces left, so one for each fall autumn journal. Here's another 1925 page here. All different ways to make pretty autumn themed book covers. Love it. And here's yet another one. Yes, 3. They're just so cute. Oh my God, I love them so much. And then this here came from a 1960s book. We've got a scarecrow there on a hill. And this is a 1905 book here of poems, and that one is on autumn. It looks, again, the paper is just so magnificent. It feels like it was printed yesterday, but it is truly antique. And then this came from a 1956 My Book House, so it is vintage. The Acorn and the Pumpkin. I had to write myself a note because I always forget the dates of some of the pieces and then I scramble. But this one is from, as you can see, 1882, a little poem there about autumn. Isn't that great? And then look at the lark on the other side. Stunning. So have fun with that. This here came from another vintage book. I just liked the colors, were fall colors again. There's another one of those 1959 pages, and that came from, it's called Homespun Ideals, and you'll see the cover of it actually coming up. Again, early 1900s page here. Fun cluster. I tried to use those natural colors. And this is one of my favorite things in this journal. It's from 1940. Obviously a beautiful fall scene. It's the swinging bridge at Palinville, Catskills Mountains in New York. It's not beautiful? Never used, probably just bought as a souvenir card, which some people still do. And there we go. This is the Homespun Ideals cover. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the fall colors on there. 1950s, just fabulous. And this is from an antique scrapbook. It's in a little rough shape, but I like that. And you can see that I pulled off all the greeting cards that I had in there. And here we go, another autumn song from a vintage songbook. And this is also 1890s, and that is the third reader. And we've got leaves here, clovers. You've got to have leaf things in the fall. And this is from a vintage set of playing cards, and it's of this woman walking her dog in the fall as well. We've got the sunflowers and the leaves on the trees turning. There's the flip side of that 1959 page. This is just a hilarious little 1950s book page here, children's book with some scarecrows, a little creepy little pumpkin down here, and a black cat. Another beautiful fall scene. You can tell by the photography that this is 1950s. It's so unique and so identifiable. Another wonderful little pumpkin page there, jack-o'-lanterns. And this is from 1937, things to make with leaves. More crafts over here. There's a vintage postcard from 1956. And why do you think one of Stacy's Maple Grove dairy receipts are in here? Because it's maple, and the maples are the most beautiful colors in the fall. Up here in Canada, our falls are magnificent, just like in Connecticut and Vermont, just spectacular. New York. Autumn song again. Lots of beautiful autumn songs. This is from Country Life Reader, early 1900s, and this chapter was on autumn as well. And then this leaf fell out of an antique Trees of America book. Now, the book itself was 70 years old, so I'm going to say that this leaf is 70 years old. Why not? I'm hoping that somebody found that. It was actually in the page where that tree was. Isn't that cool? And that brings us to the end. There's a few more pages of the original book at the end there for extra writing space. So I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. Hyperstamper.etsy.com. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.